All right, you guys. I have been waiting to do this interview with my brother, Chuck Leslie, because Chuck Leslie bought a strip bar. What? So, since I've announced this, that I'm going to do an interview with Chuck Leslie, who bought a strip bar, I've been getting some comments from some of you. Like, what? He did what? Why? To perform? to make an investment? Why did Chuck Leslie buy a strip bar? It's a really good story. And so before I have him jump in and tell us his story of buying a strip bar, I want to do a little bit of a setup. One, Chuck is my brother, one of my favorite people. He's amazing. He has a huge heart for people, and you're going to hear that in the story, how much he loves people and wants to help his community. And I've experienced that from him a lot over my life. And so those of you who grew up in San Diego will understand the significance of this story, and those of you who didn't, I think will appreciate it anyways. So when I was a little girl and we would go to downtown San Diego, there's this part of downtown San Diego that as you're driving, for me as a little girl, I'd say, Mom, what does nude mean? Or why is there a big, huge pink sign and Mom's like, oh, look away, Katie, we'll talk about that when you're older. And it was this weird area that I knew was uncomfortable, that felt awkward, and that we just drove quickly by. And that was like in the heart of San Diego, like where you drive by to get almost anywhere. And so for me, this is really interesting story because of its influence on my own life as a little girl, and just that being confusing, like what's happening here? And I don't know. So that's the part of town we're talking about. And I'm going to let Chuck tell you his perspective on that part of town, and then how this opportunity came about to buy a strip club.
Yeah, so if you live in San Diego and have ever gone to the sports arena or into Point Loma, you pass Les Girls and the Body Shop.
The Body Shop.
They've actually been there for 50 years, kind of a holdover from when it was a military town mainly, and just huge sign in your face. So I certainly remember as well as a junior high boy giggling, asking my mom what burlesque means. She's like, it's burlesque,
Burlesque.
Yeah. Yes. So and just being a giggle spot, there's a major stop sign light where 40,000 cars a day stop in front of this place.
Yeah.
And it's old and ran down. It's seedy looking, and it's been there forever. Right. So I'm 53. Right. I remember going as a kid. When we moved near the area, my boys, it's just always jokes made, funny, pointing.
Sure.
You awkwardly try not to look at it when you're at that stoplight, that sort of thing. Right. So it's just an interesting place in town. Been there forever.
Okay. So you've known of this place in town. You live right near there, actually, too.
I do now, yes.
Now, and how in the world does this opportunity come up to that one of them is for sale? Am I getting that right?
So first of all, you said that I bought a strip club, so it really wasn't me.
Right. Okay.
So I should say I'm a pastor of a church.
Okay.
So the church bought the strip club.
Which is normal.
The body of Christ. Well, I don't know if that's a good thing to say. But
right.
So I go to a unique church. I work at a unique church called the Rock Church, which is a very multiracial, multi-ethnic, huge, diverse, socioeconomic, outreach-based church. Kind of known in San Diego as the Do Something Church, involved in community in a lot of ways. So a unique church for sure.
So typically when you say church is involved in community, that doesn't mean they're involved in the strip club scene, though.
No, although we had a ministry called JC Girls, Jesus Christ Girls, that were former strippers who would go down to that club and others and bring gifts and just, provide hope and even Bible study and counseling for women who worked at those clubs. So, obviously a love for the men who go and the women who go. You need Jesus is not really a good answer to your life, to being a strip club looking for answers. So we had outreaches to them. Yeah, for sure.
Because you care about them.
Yeah.
Okay, but...
So I get an email one day from a gentleman named Austin Diaz, who's a broker in town, and he was excited in this email. You could tell, and he had an attachment that the Body Shop, one of the two main strip clubs there, was for sale.
Okay.
First time in 50 years, had been in business for 50 years as a body shop. It actually was a hay and feed shop before that.
Hilarious. Okay.
So he's like, we got to buy this. We got to figure out how to buy this so that it can no longer be a strip club.
Okay.
So from the beginning, we're kind of giving away that it was an opportunity to make it not be that anymore, to out of that part of town.
Okay.
Strip clubs exist, but this one's particularly just right where kids. I work at the school at the church, and parents will tell me they try to find different routes to get to the school as their kids learn how to read and whatnot to avoid those awkward conversations.
They're sounding out what's
it's only so long you can say the body shop is where they work on cars because it says nude girls as well. Right? So
right. Okay.
So Austin sent an email just saying this is an opportunity. What can we do? Can we do anything as a church to do it? So we didn't have in our church budget buying a strip club.
Weird.
It wasn't, weird that way. It wasn't one of the things that we had.
You guys should work on that.
Yeah, you would think we would, but we didn't. And so we actually then sent the email, forwarded it to some other people in the church, in the community that were in the real estate business and were like developers, and said, hey, what do you think about it? And really a couple guys in particular just goes, this is an opportunity. We as a church have an opportunity to maybe do something. We should do something. So we decided to jump in and go for it.
So can I clarify that the body shop was already closed down, but it was for sale?
Yeah.
Can you explain that?
So what happened, they had closed it. The owner who had owned it for 50 years had passed away. He had given it to some of his employees.
Right. Okay.
They ran it for a while. They closed it down in December, put it on the market in January when we found out about it. Important to the story, though, there were a couple other adult entertainment operators who were trying to buy it.
Okay.
So even though it was closed at the time, there were other people trying to buy it to keep it going. Partly because you could never get a license to run a body shop in that visible part of the community. They're usually off in corners somewhere and whatnot. The city has tried to close it down for years in various ways.
Oh, interesting.
And it never succeeded. But so it wasn't, there was no one working there at the time we bought it. It was already closed, but it was threatening to reopen, I guess you could say, if another adult entertainment center purchased it.
And multiple other adult entertainment
providers
were looking to buy this so that they could keep that business going.
Right.
And you were just another buyer potentially coming in to buy this.
We actually were a little stealth coming in. We didn't announce we were the church.
Okay.
We formed a LLC to purchase it and determined that we just didn't want to mess around. So we came in with a full cash price offer.
Interesting.
And a short escrow, to purchase it in an attempt to make sure that we got it, that we didn't lose it to someone else.
I found it really interesting when you were telling me how hard it is to as if you want to have an adult entertainment center, how hard it is to actually have that. So that's why this was a big deal for other people to come in and potentially buy, right?
Because it would grandfather in, you say that in real estate. The purpose would be grandfathered in so you could still run it as that. Whereas if you tried to open a strip club in that part of town today, it would be, no, it's a terrible place.
Right.
There's schools nearby.
This is a family town.
It's a family. It's the entrance to Point Loma.
Yeah.
So there's no way you could get a permit to do that today.
Right.
So that made it valuable. It made it actually the price of the property was worth more as a strip club than just as a building. So we had to kind of pay a premium for it.
Okay. Wow. Which is not like it's cheap real estate there anyways.
No.
Right. Okay. So so tell me, you decide I want to jump in on this opportunity. This sounds like an amazing idea. How do you then become a big part of making it happen? Who do you reach out to? And how much does it cost? Are we allowed to ask that?
Yes, it was listed. It was public record for $1.25 million, $1.25 million. And what happened is we found some other people in the church who thought it was a great idea, who had the expertise. So a gentleman named John Williams, fantastic guy. He buys property for a living, predominantly apartment properties. And
not predominantly strip bars.
No, he's never bought a strip bar before either. No, none of us. We're all new. We know more about the strip club industry than we ever wanted to, probably. So he forms LLCs, gets investors, buys properties.
Okay.
Holds themselves on whatever. That's what he does for a living.
Yeah.
So he did all the logistics, and actually, for him as a believer in Christ, like, how can I use my gifts for the kingdom of God, was like one of the funnest things he's ever done. Because he used his skill, his background, super successful guy, to do something unique for the community, something that we thought was good for the community.
Yeah.
And so he just felt great. And the other real estate guys who got involved the same way. Everything was donated. The lawyers who helped us put together LLC did not charge us anything. In fact, one of the lawyers said, this is the funnest, because there's fun lawyer jobs, there's boring lawyer jobs.
Sure.
You're just putting together documents and making sure property deals are done right. This is the funnest thing I've ever done, helping a church buy a strip club. So professionals in the community jumped in to help us. As a church, we're not real estate or strip club owners, so we had to figure it out.
Yeah.
But we jumped in and made an offer, but then we had to raise the money.
Right.
During the escrow period.
So you made the offer before you had the money?
We had some. Some locked down. We probably had, I don't know, $300,000-$400,000 committed and locked down, and we got the offer accepted. It was actually a 60-day escrow, so we had to put together the money during that time. Yeah.
And side note, just Chuck happens to be one of the best people to raise money. That's only been his job for the last how long now?
25 years.
25 years, yeah. So just happened to fall in your lap, and you be one of the people to get to make this all happen.
So it's funny because I've raised money for 25 years for Christian organizations.
Right.
And I learned that when you send people an email about raising money, they can be ignored. So my email topic said something like, hey, help me buy a strip club.
Right.
And people would go, I read that email.
Yeah.
I didn't ignore. Yeah, open rate was high on that. They weren't expecting it coming from the Rock Church, address. And that it was really great because of the 1.2 million that we raised, we ended up buying it for 1.2. Half the money was just given to the church, and we raised it all only with like about 16 people. Total.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And most of them didn't go to our church.
Okay.
They were developers in the community that we knew from various things. They were kind of the Christian faith.
Yeah.
And most of them just said, here, just take the money. We don't want to be a part of the LLC. You guys buy it.
Okay.
And what you do with it, you do with it. And then the other half came in from people who invested. We told them it's a bad investment. We're paying strip club costs, but we're not going to keep it a strip club. So when we resell it, we'll probably lose money. And so it's okay. I can't give you all the money, but I can give you like $100,000, knowing I'll get some of it back in a few years.
Okay.
So we did it. As we got to the last week, we were a couple $100,000 short.
Oh.
And it's actually funny because we were on vacation, beach camping, and I went over to the Starbucks in San Alejo and just started working the phone and calling people.
You did your magic.
Yeah, and it's all good God stories about people answering. People that are hard to get a hold of happen to pick up the phone,
right.
And we put the last bit of money together.
Right. Most people would panic when they have $100,000 to raise in a week. Chuck's like, bring it on.
It's good to have deadline. Deadlines are your friends as a fundraiser.
Okay, so we have the opportunity. You've raised the money. You get the sale.
Right.
And I know there's some really good stories after that. So
during the process, it was interesting meeting with the current owner.
The current owner of
when we bought it, before we owned it. Okay. Yeah, it was it wasn't the founders. He had passed away, but it had passed. One of the person who inherited it was actually an attorney. Okay. And it was actually very emotional for them. I kind of think of places like that are kind of like in like a bar where you just go, where you know people, you hang out, you find your purpose, and this was their home. This is where they had business for years. They ran it together. So
right.
And what was interesting is they also were kind of proud of the service they provided to the community.
Yeah, I mean, talk about that, because that is real. Like, they felt proud of what they were providing.
Right.
Why did they feel proud? And
so what this guy believed is that he was a service, especially when it was a military town. He goes, listen, full nude places don't serve alcohol. He said they were very strict and no prostitution. So it gave these sailors a place to come and not get in any real trouble. They just saw, naked girls dancing with poles or whatever. So his thing, so he said during parts of their career of owning it, there'd be commanders in the Navy who would actually load up buses and send guys down. And then there'd be commanders who would forbid going, and he'd go argue with them. We need to send them here. It's a safe place.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so obviously, and the funny thing, he asked us what we're going to do with the property. He didn't know we were a church at the time. And we said, "What would you do?" He goes, "I'd make it a cannabis selling place," which was just
another great service.
Yeah, which we didn't do. So yeah, another service to the community. Yes. So the flaw in that, I can only speak, from the male's perspective. My thought with the females there that they're being exploited for just their body, that sort of thing. But for a guy, that's a great way to ruin your belief in what sex is, what sexuality is, how your relationship with your wife is going to be. It's a thing that ruins relationships, doesn't help. Like pornography, any kind of stuff like that.
So from your perspective, that's not benefiting the community? No.
So strip clubs are not good for the community. And the same thing as, addiction to pornography, addiction to that sort of thing hurts people's lives. And it's a vice that creates a comfort for people that's not a true comfort that's lasting. So obviously we didn't support it being a strip club, but it was very interesting, his passion and his pride for the place that we were buying.
And I mean, I could see there could be a sense of community, providing a space to come that's fun, and there's aspects of that have good, and then with this other very dark side to it, though, that, like you said, can ruin people.
Very, very unhealthy way to cope.
Sure, to have community. There's other options of community and fun and not being bored. Yeah. Okay, so now it's yours, though.
So we bought it, but we closed escrow, and then, so just to be clear, there's 2 strip clubs there, Les Grilles and the Body Shop. We bought the Body Shop.
Right.
So then what was very interesting was connecting with Les Grilles and the manager of Les Grilles after that to talk about who we were and what we were going to do.
Because they're like right next door, basically, right?
There's a 24-inch walkway between them.
Okay.
So they almost share a wall.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so it's right. It's the same corner, same place.
Yeah.
And funny because every time I go there, I would just make sure I never walked in front of Les Grilles. You have to walk around the block a long way to get from the front to the back when we're looking at it.
Yeah.
Just because I don't know, I didn't
want to be seen.
I don't know why.
Accidentally see something. Yeah. Okay.
No, just like, oh, there's Chuck going into Les Grilles.
Right.
Pastor Chuck, there he is.
Pastor Chuck, who buys strip clubs and.
It was interesting.
Okay.
Again, we have women from the church who go in there and minister, but we don't let guys be in that ministry.
Oh, right.
It's just probably not a good thing.
Probably a good idea. Yeah. Probably. Yeah.
So super interesting meeting with her. Fantastic lady.
Her is the owner of
the manager of Les Grilles.
Okay.
Wonderful woman, hard worker, has a daughter, runs another business as a collection agency person. So she runs a collection agency, so she knew everything about me. She did the research. She read an article in the paper about me from 20 years ago, whatever. And it was a neat conversation because we said, hey, we love you. We love your people. We want to help. We like to buy Les Grilles. We like to offer college scholarships to everyone who works at Les Grilles, if you would be interested in that.
Really?
If you sold it to us, to give them a chance to do something other.
So if you sell us Les Grilles, this other one, we as an organization, a church, want to...
Job training, college scholarships to
your girls.
To your girls, yeah.
Okay.
And what was interesting, what she said, she goes, Chuck, people who work for me at Les Grilles, the females, they're broken people. This is her words. They're broken people. You wouldn't work at a strip club if you weren't broken. And I love when they escape. And some of them have come and worked for my other business. And I love when that happens. Wow. And they're hurting. And it's a way to make, kind of quick, easy cash. And so they do it. But it's not a great place for women. So from the manager of Les Grilles telling me that was really interesting.
That is interesting.
And I go, I just know it's bad for guys. It's just a bad place for guys to go. So they, especially the owner though, was not interested in selling it to us. It'd be like if a strip club tried to buy your church, you'd go, I'm not going to sell it to you. You kind of had the same reverse thing.
Yep, I get that.
So there was not interest in them selling it to us, but it was really neat. We had the controversy.
Okay.
I don't know if I even told you about the big controversy.
I don't know. Tell me about the controversy.
So she asked us, she goes, there's some lap benches in there that the previous owner was going to sell to me, but he never got around to it. Would you sell them to me?
That's hilarious.
And I go, well, actually, have this big dumpster coming tomorrow. We're just throwing the junk away. And normally I would just give them to you because they're going in the trash. But I don't know if I want to because I don't want to support your business.
You said that to her?
Yeah. No, it was a very frank conversation.
Okay.
We were very open that we bought this because we don't like this being in town and we don't like you being there, but we like you.
We don't like the service you're providing.
Yeah, we just think it's great. It's the best thing for the community, right? So it was full of grace and good conversation. It wasn't like this at all. Yeah, it was really neat, actually. So she asked if we could have this, and I spent a lot of time thinking about it, called people, and here's what she said. She goes, ours are kind of ripped, and they're uncomfortable for the girls. So it would be a service for the girls for them to have it.
She's working your heart. That's hilarious.
So we're left with this dilemma of the dumpsters there. We're throwing the junk away.
Okay.
There's these benches.
Oh my gosh, I love it.
And so what we decided to do, right or wrong, and some people thought this was great, some not, is we go, hey, listen, that space in between us, where it's locked during the day because there's a lot of homeless around there. Mm-hmm. We'll put them in there. So if you want them, you can have them, and if not, just throw them in the dumpster. And then Patrick, who was the guy at the church worker, we were moving him. He's like, Chuck, I don't know what St. Peter's going to say when I get to heaven. I'm giving. It was really funny, And but we ended up, hey, she needs them. It was help the girls. We want to show the love of Christ. We're not here fighting the girls in this at all. So we ended up giving it to them. And some people were really mad at me, actually. Just
really?
It's because it was supporting the business, maybe.
Okay.
Something that we were raising money to not, So I get both sides, but I just say, it says err on grace and let them have it. So that was really interesting.
I like that. That's good.
So.
Okay, so now the Rock Church and a group of other people, well, some people from the Rock Church, I should make sure to say, right? It's not the Rock Church, but some people.
The Rock Church, no, because people donated to the Rock. Okay. So the Rock Church owns half the LLC, basically, or is half of the LLC. The other half are other individuals.
Okay.
So we own it, yep.
You own a strip club.
We covered the body shop with a Rock Church sign.
And that's probably gotten some good comments.
So what's funny, it says nude here, girls here, and the big body shop sign in the middle. And we had the sign to cover it, and we first made sure that it covered the body shop properly.
Right.
So for about 15 minutes, it said nude Rock Church girls. Which was like, we got to cover the rest of that sign. That's not what we're looking for.
That's hilarious.
Someone has a picture of that, which is pretty funny.
Yeah.
But yeah. So we cover the sign. Do you want to talk about the license plate, the licenses and military cards?
Oh yeah, this is such a good part of the story.
So we're cleaning up the place, and we found a cardboard box about this big, decently full. And we start, looking what's in it, and it's California license, driver's license, or other states, or military cards, and each card has a Post-it on it. And the Post-it says stuff like "lap dance $20." I forget other things that was said at that club. So these guys who are out of cash, who wanted to still buy services there, they would say, "Give me your license. We'll write it on there, and you can come back, and we'll give you a license when you bring the cash."
It's like an IOU.
Sex on credit, yeah. So, and there was just a ton of them. I mean, dozens of them in this box that people just didn't go back and get them, and they were just there. So,
wow,
super interesting.
Yeah, and you did what with that?
We just threw them away.
Just threw them away.
Yeah,
no incriminating evidence.
We didn't publish them or anything. Yeah. So, we just threw them away.
Yeah, that's good. That's probably for the best.
Yeah.
All right. So to wrap up, obviously we want to know what's next, but before you tell us what you guys are hoping to do with it, what might happen with it, just a quick thought on the community response and how that's maybe impacted you and how this has impacted the community and how have they been responding?
Yeah.
They is the whole community,
Yeah.
I guess.
Well, in general, it's just been thank you.
Okay.
This place, yes, it's leading into a major family part of town. You have this, seedy part. So a lot of letters of thanks and
Really?
comments of thanks.
Mhm.
Yeah. Some people just, what's this rich church doing or whatever. And again, church didn't have any money for this. People gave to it.
Yeah.
So some negative, some, why can't they, what's wrong with strip clubs? Strip clubs are needed. But
Okay.
for the most part, what we heard was we got letters of thanks.
Okay.
And actually when people sent money, thanks for doing that. I just want to give you a donation.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
For the next one?
Yeah, whatever. Right.
Okay.
So, yeah. So mainly, and then especially the city, like people in the city of San Diego, and we do a lot of work with the police and
Okay.
whatnot. Very grateful that we're helping kind of clean up that part of town.
Okay. And one last question about the community. If you don't mind sharing, why, in your perspective, would someone in the community really have a hard time with you doing this?
The ones who were most opposed were kind of moral, like you're just being moralistic.
Who are you type of thing? Or
Yeah, some people, thought, hey, we're causing people not to have jobs anymore.
Which
Again,
wasn't the case
because
it was already closed.
Like I
right.
said, if we bought the other one, we would do job training for the ladies there. Yeah, and a lot of just kind of silly stuff that didn't make sense to me of people's ideas of how the world works.
Okay.
I don't.
Or maybe even misperception of who you guys are
Yeah.
and what you were doing.
Right. Yeah.
Assuming-
Someone thought we're just trying to buy the neighborhood to, I don't know, do something.
Take over.
Yeah, right. So,
Okay. That's interesting, though.
yeah. So some negative responses, but mostly
sure.
positive.
Okay. So then, what's next?
Well, it's interesting because we initially thought, boy, it'd be great to make like a women's resource center here that serves women with needs as opposed to a place that kind of exploits women. It's such a junky old place. It would cost $300,000 or $400,000 just to kind of make it operational.
Okay.
That didn't make sense. We don't have the money to do that.
Yeah.
But recently we've been approached by a woman-owned business. It's a Christian gal, a lady from our church, who trains women in an entrepreneur type school to go out and start businesses.
I love that.
And she loves it and she's interested in buying it.
Okay.
So I don't know if that will happen. There's a lot of details. Will the money work? All that kind of stuff. But if that happened, that would be cool. That'd be like a great ending to the story of it changing from a place again that has exploited women and hurt men to a place that empowers women, gives them skills to go out and do things.
Right. And I love that because that also is the part of the Body Shop that had some positive to it of giving women money, having them have a job.
Right.
It could still be supporting that and even a community, people who care about them, but in a way that is so much more whole and healthy and hopefully going to have as opposed to a negative long-term impact on them, a really positive one.
Exactly.
So, whether or not that happens, I know
we'll see.
for
She's
sure.
like, I have to hire all the people at Lake Girls,
That's amazing. I love
so
that.
yeah, she's not involved with the Rock Church per se. She's the person who approached us.
Okay.
And if that works out, great.
And we'll see.
Yeah.
All right.
See. Yeah.
All right. Oh, such a good story, right? Thank you. Thanks for sharing.
It was one of my more interesting things I've done as a guy who raises money for Christian organizations.
Right. Yes. So that's the story of why and how Chuck Leslie bought a strip bar. Next interview isn't totally nailed down, but it's going to be a really good one. I promise. Thanks for watching, those of you who did.